AEW has some big plans for Danhausen. Also, we are going to talk about a new Impact Wrestling signing. And of course, we got some major news coming from Ring of Honor today in regards to their Hall of Fame. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring the bell. This way you can get notified on all the latest content 7 days a week, news videos every single day. And now we're going to kick things off with some news for Impact Wrestling. We're going to kick it off with Laredo Kid has signed a new contract with Impact Wrestling. Now, if you guys are familiar with Laredo Kid, you may remember him from AEW Fyter Fest, their very first Fyter Fest. Gosh, it's gonna bother me who they versed, but it was Laredo Kid. He replaced Pac, and then he joined Ray Phoenix and, of course, Penta. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because AEW never signed Laredo Kid, and then Impact Wrestling throughout the years, we have seen him show up. He even at one point had a tryout with WWE. Like, this guy has been everywhere. Laredo Kid is also mostly known for his work in AAA, and I believe even right now, if I remember correctly, he is actually still the AAA Cruiserweight Champion. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you've looked at Impact Wrestling lately, some of their signings include Mike Speedball Bailey, and now we got Laredo Kid, and then, of course, in the past year or so, they brought in Steve Macklin. Right now, they're doing a lot of big focus. There's a big focus on their X division. It almost feels like it's starting to make a comeback. Personally, I think Impact has been doing a great job recently, and they continue to get better, and there's even more rumors of them and AEW opening up the Forbidden Door again, which is pretty cool. But I like the idea of them bringing in Laredo Kid. I think Impact Wrestling needs to stay away from signing very, very big, expensive contracts, but really focusing on just doing what they're doing, which is putting out consistently good TV. So yes, I am in favor of Laredo Kid joining Impact. No longer is it a per appearance thing. He's actually joining the company, and I like that a lot. Also, with that being said, guys, we got to talk about some Ring of Honor news. You know, I try to mix it up here and there. Ring of Honor has announced that Bryan Danielson is now joining the list of the Hall of Fame inductees. Bryan Danielson joining Ring of Honor's Hall of Fame is pretty cool. He is the second inductee behind the Briscoes, and I think this is fantastic news for ROH, but more specifically, I think this is fantastic news for AEW, and the reason why is because Supercard of Honor is taking place during WrestleMania weekend, and we both know, actually, we all know that AEW has yet to announce anything for WrestleMania weekend. In the past, they've said, hey, that weekend belongs to WWE. We're not going to be participating. And I think Ring of Honor having the Supercard of Honor and having AEW's top guy being inducted into the Hall of Fame there, I think we might be able to see some sort of AEW involvement in Supercard of Honor, which to me would be really, really exciting. And I think if you're a wrestling fan, if you are a wrestling fan, I think it's actually really crucial for wrestling in general to see Ring of Honor and AEW pair up, because Ring of Honor is not big anymore. Ring of Honor, I mean, look, they released their entire roster, and yes, they are coming back, but they're going to be doing things per appearance, and I think them having a strong relationship with AEW would be massively important. In fact, I would even suggest maybe taking that relationship to the next step and having Ring of Honor kind of become like a feeder system for AEW. That's what I would recommend, because at this point, I don't know if Ring of Honor could really recoup everything that they've once had. Now, keep in mind, Ring of Honor has lost Danhausen to AEW. They lost Brody King to AEW. And now we got Josh Woods, who is working AEW Dark. So my point that I'm making here is Bryan Danielson being in the Hall of Fame is great. I'm hoping that we're starting to see a relationship between these two companies actually blossom. Not just one-off things, right? Not just one-off, hey, here and there. Obviously, Bryan Danielson is in the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame because of his work that he had done and achieved in Ring of Honor. But being that he is a current AEW wrestler, nonetheless, he is a top star for AEW. I'm hoping that AEW and Ring of Honor could start working things out. If they were to work things out here, again, I think there is a huge benefit for pro wrestling, because at the end of the day, there is power within these relationships. And when you see AEW working with AAA, when you see AEW working with Impact, when you see AEW working with Ring of Honor, these things are important. When you see AEW allowing Jon Moxley to work GCW, it's important to the overall health of wrestling, because I've said this before, there are too many free agents and not enough big companies that can be able to pay these contracts. So having them team up, having them work together, having them almost form an alliance is better for long-term pro wrestling. And Bryan Danielson going to the Hall of Fame, I think, is the thing that helps build the bridge. So I want to know what you guys think about Bryan Danielson in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, I predicted that was going to happen. I think CM Punk is next. I think there's quite a few names that we should be expecting, but all in all, congratulations to Bryan Danielson because it's some pretty exciting news. And guys, for our final story of the day, we are talking about Danhausen and AEW. In fact, we got to talk about Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. Speaking to Busted Open Radio, Tony Khan commented on the signing of Danhausen. He says, Danhausen is a lot of fun. Speaking of Orange Cassidy, Danhausen is going to be closely associated with Orange Cassidy. Perhaps we'll see. Having seen them together in Wheeler Yuta's corner and having seen Danhausen help Orange Cassidy in the Lights Out match, I definitely think the fans enjoy Danhausen, and I'm happy to give them what they want. I love listening to the fans. Now, this was actually part of the interview with Busted Open Radio. As you guys know, that's kind of like Tony Khan's new thing where he constantly shows up there giving people updates. This was also transcribed and everything like that from Fightful, so thank you to them for doing so. But I want to keep in mind two things here, right? I like Danhausen, I like Orange Cassidy, and I'm glad that Tony Khan is listening to his fan base. And I'm not hating on AEW here. I got to preface everything I say by telling you guys that. But my question is this. AEW is listening to their fan base, okay? Which is great. I wish every company listened to their fan base. But my question is this, and I'm genuinely curious to see what people have to say about this. Danhausen and Orange Cassidy are great talent. I agree. And I think they have a place on TV. As somebody who watches WWE and AEW and Impact and all of these companies, I definitely believe that comedy should be in wrestling, as long as it's good comedy, right? But my question is this. When Tony Khan says, I definitely think the fans enjoy Danhausen and I'm happy to give them what they want. I love listening to the fans. When I see that, my question is, does Tony Khan have plans beyond his current fan base? That's what I'm curious about. As somebody who analyzes wrestling, I feel like he does everything that his current fan base wants, right? If he's got 1.1 million viewers, I think 1.1 million viewers, they are getting what they like. But in terms of growing the company to like this massive scale, what is it going to take for AEW to do that? That's what I'm curious to see what you guys think. That's something I want to start looking into because I think Danhausen and Orange Cassidy are great. But is there ever going to be a time where Tony Khan gives people something that they might not want? And what's going to be the reaction to that? That's very hard to appeal to everybody and make everybody happy. Does that make sense? I think it is difficult to make everybody happy. And right now you are making everybody happy. So what's going to happen when you can't make them happy? And what happens when you can't make them happy because you're trying to attract a different audience? I don't want that AEW audience to turn on AEW because at some point they are going to try to grow beyond this audience that cares for Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. At the end of the day, I'm in favor of this. I think they should be paired together. I love what they're doing with the best friends. To me, it's cool. It fits on TV and makes sense. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. All in all, great news for all three companies today. Can't wait to see your opinions. I'll talk to you guys later.